welcome back to CMO Peer Talks. My name is Raquel Sims. I run the Customer Success Department at Promo Republic, the company that throws the podcast that brings you into the minds of local marketing, franchise marketing leaders. Tongue twister. I am joined by Nicolle Salla. You are at Kitty Academy. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're doing there and what actually brought you into franchising in the first place?
Great, so thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm with Kitty Academy and we are a franchisor of educational childcare. We are currently at 300 locations in 34 states and District of Columbia. And actually we have about 150 more in the pipeline. So we've grown significantly over the past 5 years.
Fantastic, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been a great partnership between our marketing, ops team, and really our franchisees.
Yeah.
And we've grown significantly over those past 5 years, 200 to 300, and then certainly have a lot in the pipeline because people see the need for this educational childcare.
Of course.
We're in the business of nurturing and inspiring children, and also we say about the same about our franchisees and the educators that work for them.
Yeah.
We really are there to serve the community, and that's what's so special at Kitty Academy.
Yeah.
As far as my professional career, this is my first foray in franchising. I've been there for 5 years, but I say I started in franchising at 14 with Chick-fil-A.
Yes,
So that was my first experience with franchising. I was very blessed to have that experience, and I've been excited about franchising ever since. And really what keeps me excited is the franchisees and their passion for the brand. And my role as the CMO is to help give them the tools and information they need to continue to build the brand across the country.
So what, if you don't mind me asking, 5 years ago when you were evaluating, okay, what's the next step, what really pulled you into franchising?
What really pulled me in was the fact that you could marry, so I was working in senior care. So senior care and child care are very similar in many ways. And also, when you look at franchising, it really is the opportunity to give entrepreneurs the chance to own their own business.
Yeah.
So I immediately saw the parallels of people making life-changing decisions, moving from their home to a senior care home, facility, independent living, to starting their own business, leaving a successful career and starting a business in childcare, or taking your most precious thing in your whole life, your children, and making a decision for them. How could you not want to work for a brand like that? So it gave me an opportunity to marry my experience in finding ways to connect emotionally to make people make that decision, but then also finding a way to transfer that into franchising and childcare.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such a great message, that you are changing lives, and not only of disease, but of the students and educators, and that's a fantastic community pillar that you are. So you obviously mentioned that you've had fantastic, record-breaking growth. You have 100 plus in the pipeline. You grew from 2 to 3, which is a fantastic feat in itself. And obviously that's a collaboration of ops, brand dev, and marketing. What would you say are your biggest factors to that success?
I think the biggest factors are really bringing others in. The success of the company doesn't rest on one person or one department.
Right.
When I joined Kitty Academy, my goal was to listen and learn and really take all of the information from our franchisees and collaborate with them. Empower the marketing team to also do great work and have them understand that they can do great things with the talents that they have. Listening to our colleagues in franchise sales, operations, technology, education, and marketing, and really bringing that all together to develop what became our brand essence and what it is that differentiated us from our competitors and also differentiated us in the marketplace from keeping your child at home or using a local daycare. For me, it's about people and collaboration, and that's really what I credit our success to. Marketing cannot work in a silo. They have to rely on their partners. And that's one of the things that we preach in our department is bringing people in throughout the process and not just at launch.
Yeah. That's a great point. And you said a few things, if you don't mind me
Absolutely,
drilling down there a little bit. So I think for people to really understand, because you're the CMO, so you have that 10,000-foot view in. If you could share a little bit about what your marketing department looks like, maybe structure, size, vendors, are they utilized, are they not? I think that would really help others understand how you are able to grow in that space, of course, as you said, with other departments collaborating, but I think understanding how you built the marketing team would be really helpful.
Yeah. So the way we've built the marketing team is to really try to understand what do we need to be internal experts for, and then how do we marry that with best-in-class partners and vendors.
Really well said.
So really tried to build a balance of those two things, because you need some outside third-party experts along the way to help you. And we have many great partners. I usually try not to use the word vendors because they truly should be partners. And really looked at what do we need to be core experts for, and how do we build that out in the department. And our department, the way we look at it is we want to, sometimes I say we look like an agency, but we're really not an agency for our franchisees, but we are set up in a way that utilizes people's skill sets, so creative and content and digital, for instance, but then also can help provide our franchisees a level of support that we take a lot of pride in. So how can we have those franchisee-facing team members to help support franchisees locally, help them understand the national program, help our internal departments support their goals through marketing, but then also have our subject matter experts internally that work with those expert best-in-class outside partners.
Absolutely. So you have, of course, so many locations, and you did touch upon that by helping the franchisees locally as well as absorbing the brand message. How much freedom do you give the franchisees to localize content, and what resources are they able to do and use to do so?
I think it's a great question, because while we're all selling a similar product, and every franchisee that tells me, well, we're different, we're in Houston, we're in Atlanta, wherever, they're still the same human need, and there's a power in a franchise brand, and that's why you bought into the brand, and that's why people buy into the brand. So it is important to set a good baseline and give a good tool set that really sets the tone for what our brand is. However, I think that also needs to be balanced with local tools that they can customize. Because what we found in the Pacific Northwest, STEM is still really big and thriving. And in other parts of the country, the character essentials part of our curriculum is what needs to be front and center. And so you need to give franchisees options to customize the branded pieces that we have, and give them options so they can customize locally. And if you don't give them easy to use tools, they're going to not do it, they're going to get frustrated, they're going to do it on their own. And so you have to build an infrastructure that allows them to express their individuality, but stays within brand standards.
I think that's a really great point, because when people think of localizing content, for example, they think, let me just add city, state, and street name to my post, and that's good enough. But you're really saying localize what you do. STEM is relevant in Portland, character building, as you said, somewhere else. So by localizing what you're offering, what is like your expertise, I think is a really great point that not a lot of people think of when they think of localizing.
Right. And for social media, for instance, we have a tool that they can log into and customize. I now say we have thousands of templates, but lots of templates based on different catalogs of content, recruiting, character, curriculum, infants, you name it, it's there. But what we tell them is, you have this tool set, but what we know works best is really you posting photos of your children engaging activities at your academy. That's what parents are sharing. That's what parents are engaging with. So during our training, we talk a lot about that. And I imagine it would be the same for other franchise brands. People buy from people locally.
Absolutely.
And the best part about franchising is you buy from that local owner, that local business owner, who is rooted in the community, especially for our academies, but is backed by the quality of a national brand.
You hit the nail on the head. I think people often forget that a franchisee is that local community member. You know, they think of it, oh, you're part of this massive network, but yes, but I am your neighbor, I am your colleague,
right?
Friend.
Absolutely.
So that's really well said. You touched upon this and alluded to this a little bit. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you measure success, both at the ZOR level and for the Z's?
So when I look at how we measure success, I do truly look at it as an art and a science. And I know some people say that. I say my team gets tired of hearing it, because there are data points that we have to look at. There are KPIs that you have to track and measure. You know, when it comes to digital marketing, what are those? Cost per lead, cost per click, ROI on marketing investment, all of the standard metrics we track. But I think the power is really in understanding the story behind the data. I can give you reports all day long, and you're going to ask, well, why is this up? Why is this down? What's happening here? So I really think when you look at data, you have to pair it with an executive analysis of what it means and why it is that way. If you stop a campaign, of course your website traffic is going to go down. But the first thing an executive may see is, oh my gosh, website traffic is down, what do we do? Well, there's 3 reasons for that. Or there's some external pressures that are putting on the metrics. So I'd say we track all the standard metrics, but the other powerful thing that we do is measure our market. We marry our marketing metrics with our operational metrics, and you have to look at both of those together. Marketing for me and my team does not stop at the inquiry. It really goes through until that customer's child graduates in kindergarten, or if they've left for something else. You have to understand that whole process and really measure things along the way like NPS, customer sentiment, brand recognition, awareness, sentiment, all of those things tie into at least the data set that we look into, and then we boil it down to an executive overview and analysis so that our executive team can be understanding what it is that we do.
Absolutely. I think that's really important that executives may look at something and be like, oh, problem, but then you're like, actually there's a story behind it and this is what it is.
Or if something is amiss, it gives you the opportunity to say, yes, we understand this is a problem, because I think you should be completely transparent about that, but here's what we're doing about it. Identify the issue, identify a path forward, and act on it.
Let's take the inverse of that and look at the Z's. Because we know that their job is to run the business, right? So you have some that actually like to and enjoy the marketing component. You have some that's like, my job is to run the business. Why are you telling me this? Do you give them any numbers that they can keep track of so they can see, okay, I'm understanding it, this is making me successful, this is worth what I'm putting into it? Or do you keep the KPIs out of the franchisees' realm?
We give our franchisees access and insights into a set of KPIs. Most franchisees aren't used to looking at marketing KPIs, so we don't want to overwhelm them, but we do have a certain set of franchisees that come from a marketing background and come from a tech background. So that's why we have our marketing managers or our franchise business consultants that can give them a bigger peek into some of the data. If we give everyone all the data, I think most of them, it's too much. So for the ones that we know want a little bit more, or once a year or once every so often we'll do an analysis for them of things that maybe they may not have access to, like Google Analytics and things like that. So we will partner with the franchise business consultants and operations and the franchisees if they want to have better insights into their data. We'll do a specialized report for them and help explain why it is that way and what are some things that they could do locally to help turn that around. Or some franchisees ask for access to Google Analytics because they love it. And so we work with them to figure out how we can give them more insights so that they can use that.
I think that's really great. You're empowering those that want to learn more, and those that are maybe a little bit intimidated or are focusing on the business 100%, you let them check in maybe yearly and see how that goes.
We try to be flexible to how it is that they want to work with marketing, and make sure that they have the tools that they need to make good decisions.
Absolutely. And you can see the common thread in what you've built is you give them the tools to succeed, you have the metrics at the Zor, and you make that the winning recipe along not only marketing but ops, brand dev to build the business further, and it yielded these fantastic results. So congratulations. I mean, that's amazing. So two more questions, and the first is, because you are the CMO, so you have this 10,000-foot view over the business, what do you think is that next big thing in franchise marketing overall?
I think that by the time it comes to fruition, there's going to be something else. There's always going to be something new. So I think some of the things that we're thinking about or reading about is where is this Chief Customer Experience Officer role going? And in many respects, I love how other franchisors have really been partnering that marketing technology operations to, while they may not have a title, they're really going in that direction. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to shape up over the next few years. And if you focus a little bit solely more on the traditional marketing side, I think franchisors have such an opportunity to look at how social media is being used and how they can harness the power of, with franchisors, you have to have some control. Well, then you have TikTok that gives complete control to customers. How do we empower our franchisees to use that? How do we encourage our customers? How do we build that without becoming the brands that are just going to run ads on TikTok?